1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I'm with you.
So that's Sesame Street, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rett Harmon here with James Paul, Schiller Productions, and we have a special guest today, Jeff Pfitzer, USA Mortgage, here in town from St. Louis, Missouri, and straight out of the Lake of Ozarks. And we got some people crashing our party. It was our first live podcast and first podcast with a guest. Who's busting?
I attracted a live audience. They actually just came randomly off the street.
Yeah, we've got stools and everything. Go ahead, y'all. You guys can.
Actually, yes. Yeah, if I must introduce, one of them is my business partner, Sean Curley, and then the other one is one of our newest loan officers, who just got out of law enforcement to become a loan officer. Obvious segue, Travis Stevens.
What's up?
Very cool. So we were talking about this earlier. So it's kind of like, what do you do? And it depends on how you ask it, I guess. But this guy, basically his team closed almost 2,000 mortgages last year, and they're on track to do 2,200 this year.
Something like that.
I think you could do more than that. I'd say you could only do 2,250 at least. So Sean, you got some work to cut out for you, buddy?
I'm stretching out right now, actually.
Very good. And but what do you focus most of your time on, Jeff?
Oh man, if you ask my kids, they'd say playing on your computer or your phone. But what I'm actually doing is a lot of content creation. That's really what I do. Trying to deliver value to the various audiences that I have on social media.
Perfect. So, and that social media is pretty much how you've been able to grow your business, and you do that in a lot of different formats, a lot of different platforms, and I mean, you kind of become an expert in a lot of different fields there. It's really, really cool. So, obviously having the content creator right behind us, James Paul, obviously we have a lot of relatable conversations through this stuff. So, you know, I would love to hear the story about how you're able to scale, and where were you maybe 5 years ago, or however far back you want to tell from, to where you are now.
Yeah, so it's a funny story. So we were a small group then. We were probably 25 to 30 people total. And we decided to make a move from our current company, which is where we came back to. So that's USA Mortgage, and we left to go to another lender because of a variety of reasons. We were struggling to grow. We thought they were going to be sold. We didn't like the direction of the company. We didn't like the marketing. We didn't like the way they were evolving. And so we changed companies. And when we went there, one of my first thoughts was, how am I going to differentiate myself from my competition, who is now USA Mortgage? And this was right about the time that Facebook Live was becoming a thing. And there was a guy in our market doing these shows called Coffee Talk. And so this guy, really looking back, was very innovative. And I was enthralled with it, and just kind of latched on and said, I think I need to be doing this. And so I started doing Facebook Lives, and I was doing just stupid stuff, you know, walking around the office, because I didn't know what I was doing. And I still remember the one video that was kind of my light bulb moment. So it was video, first of all. It started with video. That was my differentiator, because I knew that my competition, his name is Ron Mueller, who's now technically my boss, was probably not going to get in front of the camera. That was my way I was going to stand out compared to him. And I did. But what ended up happening was I remember doing mortgage-related video content and thinking, this is boring me. So I can't believe my audience is going to like this. And I did a video one day with my daughter, who at the time was 13. She was making slime and selling it on Etsy. So I thought, you know what, why don't we do a video? You make the slime in the video, and then we'll plug you, right? I was just trying to help her out and have some fun. That video got thousands of views, probably 100 to 200 comments of like-minded people that were like, oh my gosh, my kid's into that too, or what, you know what, it just got so much engagement. And I was like, like this is what they want. Why don't I give this to them more often?
Deliver value, have a meaningful conversation.
That's it. Yeah, it was just connecting with your audience, basically. Yeah. And one thing led to another. From the connection with the guy who was doing the coffee talk, he introduced me to Mike Cuevas. I think you know Mike.
Yep.
And then Mike, through Mike, I met a videographer named Justin Barr, based out of Chicago. He was doing some wacky off-the-wall green screen stuff at a time well before TikTok. So he was like, you know, predated TikTok, and I just thought it was fascinating and entertaining, and I was like, I want to do some of that stuff for business, and started doing it, and took a crap ton of criticism, even from the guy sitting over there, one of my own partners, which was validated. Like, it was new. Nobody knew what I was doing, and one thing led to another, and it allowed me to get seen. and people noticed, and they were like, I like what this guy's doing. And then I started to get invited to real estate masterminds and events, and it led me down a path of meeting people and created opportunity.
So let's talk about that mortgage person getting invited to real estate events without bringing the donuts. That's kind of random, It's kind of like mortgage guys come and run everybody. We've heard it. You can do all these different kinds of loans that you can all do and everything else. So it's like you were actually getting invited to be there and sharing content that was valuable to real estate agents. That's pretty neat, and that's how you and I met through we shared some stages together on some stuff and some different groups and all. So pretty wild. So going back to before doing video, how many mortgages were you averaging per year doing that?
So 2016, we were roughly 25, maybe 25 to 35, I'll say, is in terms of employees. Today, we are north of 115. Back then, we were doing between 600 and 800, roughly. 2019 was our best year at 803 units for 136 million. That was 2019. So that was, I started in 16. It takes a couple of years for this stuff to kind of catch on. 2019 was our best year. 2020 is when we just hockey stick. Then we did 1,937 units for 396 million. And then this year we're on pace for over 2,000 for over $500 million.
Wow. So
2,281 loans is what we're on pace for.
Not that anyone's counting.
Okay.
2,281, yes.
Okay.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
So let's go back for a second, right? Because most people, when they're ready to start or they want to start creating content, they get in their head, right? They're never ready. They don't have the right camera. They don't have the right lighting. They don't have a crew. Now, for you, you said you just did something for your daughter. So what did you use? Did you use your phone? Okay, so can you walk us through that process and how you were able to get out of your head to just move forward?
Yeah, I mean, I use my cell phone. So I still use my cell phone. So we
Right.
do have a full-time videographer, but only use them sparingly for, certain things. We use them for our team. So I only use them for, different projects, bigger projects. But by and large, I create most of my content with a cell phone. Without a microphone. I do have lighting, but usually I just use what God gives me with the sunlight. And the one piece of equipment that I do carry with me everywhere is a tripod.
Yep.
Because I don't like when people hold their phones, because the way I always thought about it was you're kind of making me nauseous watching your video.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah.
carry a tripod, and even nowadays the phones have pretty good stabilizers built into them, but that's all you need. You don't need anything. And every once in a while I'll use a lav mic.
Yeah.
Because maybe I'm shooting something that's being recorded as a commercial, so the sound needs to be really crisp. But for the most part, if your message is solid, on point, or you're just putting out content to put out content, it doesn't matter. Just do it.
Yeah. Nice. So you got out of your head.
Yeah. Well, and I think the biggest thing is once you get past, I don't care. I don't like how I look. I don't like how I sound.
Yeah.
I don't like, that I say a lot or whatever it might be. I don't feel, I freeze up.
Yeah.
Once you get past all of that, then you got to get past what are people going to say.
Yep.
And the truth is actually people are mean. They're mean. I mean,
true.
and it's going to happen. It's inevitable. And your competitors are going to do it because they're probably intimidated.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about with your suits. I mean, I said, how many times have you been called a clown? You just got to ignore that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And people said the exact same thing to me. You look like a clown. Why aren't you talking about mortgages? And you just got to believe in what you're doing and just ignore the noise, I think.
Yeah.
So I think real estate is equally as boring as mortgages are.
It is.
It's all kind of one and the same in a way. But you got to find out things that are interesting and unique and different. And that's just kind of something we got to do. So your content right now, we were talking about this earlier, and obviously we're going to find out. We'll go ahead and let people know how do they follow you right now, so we won't forget about that. TikTok, Instagram.
So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube are the 5 places that I produce consistent content.
And is in your name or
Just my name, exactly what it is. Jeff Pfitzer, correct.
and Pfitzer.
Yep.
So find them there. We were talking about some TikTok content recently, and how you sometimes will stumble upon something that you didn't really intend on being a hit or getting
Viral.
attention from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that recently for you?
Lake of the Ozarks. So I have a second place at the Lake of the Ozarks. Been weekend warrior, go down there all the weekends, and I just I was just literally. It started with me just videoing a go fast boat. There's a lot of those down there. Like there was a cockpit boat. I remember this was last year, or maybe a couple years ago, and I created it, and the video just went off, and I'm like, interesting. Maybe I'll do more of this. And I just did a couple of them a couple of weeks ago. And one was we were in a cove, coving out all day. We were pulling out of the cove, and I saw somebody with a built-in diving board on their boat. And I'm like, look at that. I've never seen that before. And so I just captured it. It's that simple. And I put it with a little bit of caption and some music on TikTok, and it got 520,000 views.
Wow.
Just silly, just stupid stuff. And then leaving the same cove, we're driving by a house, a beautiful house. There's a lot of them on the lake with 3 boats. One was a cruiser boat, one was a center console boat with 4 motors on it, and one was a wakeboard boat, and then they had multiple Sea-Doos. And I just videoed it because I'm like, I'll do something with this later. And then I did something with it, and I think literally I put some fun music with it and put a caption of, I wonder how they decide which boat to use today. And the thing went off for 470,000 views, like over 1 million views on 2 videos in a week. And then it made me think, well, again, I'm overthinking this stuff. Like, just give them what they want. I picked up probably 1,000 followers, and it got me thinking. I was like, gosh, if I was a realtor or anything, if I sold anything, stereos, cars, mortgages, doesn't matter, and I live at the Lake of the Ozarks, I would be creating that content. Because I'm going to go viral, I'm going to get tons of views, and then I'm going to sprinkle in whatever it is I'm selling, and those people are just going to invariably want to buy from me because I'm famous. I'm the local celebrity. I'm the authority. I'm the one they see on camera.
Well, they've seen you multiple times, and they already build trust with it. It's kind of like anything, and people are going to TikTok and other platforms. That's entertainment now. That is where they go. The television is no longer really a thing. I mean, it's your phone or computer, whatever they're watching. Yeah, YouTube. So people see the personalities there, and really it's so weird that people feel like they know you without ever even meeting you.
100%.
And so you build that credibility and trust because they get a chance to know your personality through different things, and you kind of bring them in different ways. So I think that's that random content we always talk about, to bring it to back. Whatever you do, obviously for this purpose, random to real estate, but you random to mortgages or random to mechanics or whatever it is that you do. So James does a lot of stuff. We've mentioned before this coffee and different things. So someone starting out, we were talking earlier, and you said there's no such thing as something that's too boring or that wouldn't work for this. So you could give someone advice on how to create content around whatever their hobby is. So let's do an exercise. Let's come up with a random, we'll use our guest audience here for this. Come up with a random hobby or something, and let's see if we can kind of stump Jeff on how to create content around that. So does anybody have an idea of something random, a random hobby or something?
Or one of your hobbies. Drinking beer. It's great. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so if I was a beer drinker, I am a beer drinker, but if I wanted to create content
cheers,
around
by the way.
it,
We'd have a beer for this.
Cheers.
right. Easy. So one of 2 things that come to mind would be, one was if I'm a beer drinker of like I like a variety, I would do my own little reviews of beers. But then you could take it one step further, and you could be going to various bars, and you could be doing a combination of a review on the beer, but also of the bar. And then you're going to be giving out community content, and people are just going to eat that kind of stuff up. So it's just take what you're already doing and do it. Or I'll give you another example. Bush Latte. Like, how did it become called Bush Latte? Because of a guy who created content and started calling, and he became known as that. I mean, one of the guys who works for us and one of our good friends, his name's Ralph Haar, and like he's known for he loves his Bush Latte. And if I was him and creating a lot of content, I would consistently have a Bush beer in my hand, because it kind of brands you, and it ties people to you. And sure, it's going to turn some people off, but the people that are passionate about it are going to be that much tighter to him.
Social object,
That's
just
it.
find something to gravitate towards.
You know what I do? Here's a picture, by the way. I just took a picture of beer. I drink beer and coffee. So every time I travel, I ask for the local beer, and then I take a picture of it and I drink it and I'll comment about it. Same thing with the coffee, and that actually is picked up. You know what I mean? And now I'm getting coffee mugs and different coffees coming in the mail from people that I don't know, even shirts. Yeah. So yeah, it works, man.
I'll give you another example, because I know the big guy over there plays video games. That actually has become super popular.
That makes a lot of sense now.
But I don't think people think about it from a content perspective, though. But you actually, it's a real thing. Like, people are videoing themselves playing video games.
I'll never forget when my kids are watching this. Like, this is the silliest thing I've ever seen. You're watching someone playing a video game.
So dumb.
Yeah.
But at the same token, so then I think about it. You think, okay, well, you're only going to get 12-year-old audience. But if you branded yourself as the 40-year-old video gamer, you know, you're going to end up resonating with the other 40-year-olds that do it, and you're going to have these raving fans, and guess what? You're probably going to end up getting a deal out of it, basically. Yeah. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying nobody's too boring. Like, everybody does something. Yeah. Like, even if you're like the guy or gal that says, I just watch Netflix. Perfect. Review the shows. Get on there and put on.
How many times do you see a post? This is a great example. What should I watch on Netflix next?
And then you get 50 replies.
Everybody's replying. So like you always that could always have relevant content. 100%. There's always something new coming out, right?
Yeah. It's like creating your own reality show.
Exactly. Or today, what were we doing today? One of our loan officers was having a BLT event, which is a big deal.
Bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches.
Correct. And why? Because one of her passions, one of her hobbies is growing tomatoes. And she's like legit growing tomatoes. And I told her when she first came to work for us, I'm like, you have 12 months of content every single year. Because it's a process to do this.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, with the whole germination process and the seeds and then the tilling the soil and then, and then at the end of the year after she whatever you call, harvest them, I guess. Then there's another process for getting it back, I'm like, this is great. And I said, you would be surprised how many other people grow tomatoes that want to learn something from you.
Yep.
There's something for everybody, in other words.
Yeah.
Like,
the end result is the lunch that you put on.
Yeah.
And all the stuff that goes along with it.
That was the culmination of her year, yeah.
Right. But then you backtrack all that. Well, how did this come from this? How does the seed turn into that? And then, like you said, so we were talking earlier about how to, creating a content calendar, like just some of the things that we got today, photo-wise and video-wise, clips that could be repurposed into very short little posts, basically, that could have some text put with it or whatever, some motion, whatever, animation, and have content for several times throughout the year. I'm looking forward to summer months of doing this, but you got to put in the work now for doing this.
Yeah.
It's like insert picture of tilling the ground or whatever, and then having the whole calendar year put up there, and then the next year you build off of it again and you try to one up what
You're
that
basically telling a story.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly. People want to know a story.
Yeah.
So I've got another one for you, Jeff.
Yeah.
All right, all of us have taken pictures and videos on our phones, right? So we've got tons of content that we're just not using.
Yeah.
Now, earlier we were talking, right? And I'm sure a lot of people go through this. Old pictures, but don't want to post them now because you're not in that same setting.
Yeah.
But yet, it's literally a library of content, right? You were giving Rett some advice on that. Can you share that with others? Because I'm sure there's a lot of other folks going through the same problem. So much content, but they're not using it because they're not literally there at that particular time.
Yeah, so Rett and I have a 180-degree different perspective on this, and I think I started with saying you're an idiot. In the sweetest possible.
Hey.
No, but I mean, the reality is so he took some videos. He said that I take this video or these pictures, I get busy, life happens.
Use some of it, but not all of it, right?
I didn't post everything, and then I start second guessing. Well, now it's Tuesday. I don't want people to think I'm out fishing. Or
I was on the fish on the weekend, but I don't want people to think that I'm fishing again through the other way.
Correct. And I said, first of all, stop overthinking it because not everybody's going to see it in the moment that you post it, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
You could caption it and let them know this was from the weekend. In fact, I actually have a post from this past week that I still haven't posted yet, that I've been putting together. I just haven't had time. And I'll still post it because I put time into it. But that's the thing. You go to the well. Right. And I literally document. I turn on my camera too much, more often than I need to, and a lot of it just gets deleted. But some of it, I'll go back to the well, because I'll go through days where I'm just like, I'm not feeling it today. I just had a super busy day. I didn't have time to grab my phone and get on social media, so I have to go to the well. And going to the well is, I'm going to grab that fight between Cash and Isabel 3 months ago that was hilarious, but I never posted it. And now I'm going to use it. Because my audience doesn't know when it happened. They don't care when it happened. It's still funny. It doesn't matter.
Well, in that, for saying that, I felt kind of silly because, we had that conversation. We posted a few things, obviously. I posted some stuff, and you tagged me some things. What social media got more active. I had like 4 or 5 more comments on those same videos from the weekend. I'm like, damn, he's right. It's Wednesday, and now people are commenting on stuff on the weekend. They don't really care. They're seeing it now.
That's the consistency piece.
It is,
and that's why if you're going to take social media serious and you use this random concept, is that the algorithm is going to reward you for being consistent.
Right.
It doesn't matter how crappy the content is. You're being consistent. They're going to reward you, which means something that you might have posted 2 weeks ago all of a sudden gets a bunch more action.
And it likes similar things too. You talk about certain things or go and post something again. Like if I post more pictures about fishing, for instance, it's going to make my other fishing things do better because the people that do react with that or interact with that, they're also going to see other content that I put out at other times. It's going to sprinkle more information back that was similar. It's like, oh, you liked this, you might like that.
Yep.
So,
Well, and a lot of people, actually, you don't realize this, but a lot of people, when they like a post, especially on TikTok and Instagram, but I think this happens on Facebook too, they go to your profile.
and they look at what else you put out there.
Yes, and then those people who saw your fishing one are going to scroll through your TikToks looking for other fishing ones, and they just want to see what you're about. And then all of a sudden, you can gain some traction on some old videos.
Oh, this guy seems pretty cool. I'm going to follow him.
Yeah.
Correct.
No,
And
So,
that's how it
so
goes.
speaking of consistency, do you use the same hashtags consistently and then add extra hashtags depending upon what you're posting? Well, how does that work for you?
So it depends. If I'm coaching a real estate agent, for example, I'm going to tell them to have like about 5 hashtags that stay consistent. And by the way, hashtagging is only important on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, but that's keywords, right?
Right.
So consistent hashtags. Maybe if you're a team name, maybe your brokerage name, maybe your town, maybe your state, whatever's important that always is going to stay a constant. But then hashtag what's relevant to the video. Right. So if you do a fishing video, and Kim Kardashian went viral over the weekend, and you hashtag Kim Kardashian on fishing, you're not going to hack the system. It doesn't work that way. Right. Hashtag what's relevant. So if you were fishing in Florida, hashtag where you were in Florida. Hashtag maybe the brand of your boat or the brand of the fishing pole you were using or the type of fish that you caught. Right. Fishing, So hashtag what's relevant to what you're posting. Don't try to think you're going to beat the system. It's like the old, people still do this. You know how you see a post on Facebook and they tag 100 people?
Right.
That's just dumb. 100 people don't have any relevance to that. You're trying to hack the system and you're an idiot and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Spam.
stop doing it.
Yeah.
Actually, I think the algorithms have figured it out and they're actually going to suppress you as a result because they're like, you're an idiot. It's not going to work. Don't do that.
Right.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. So, do you have a schedule of what you're going to post, or you just kind of go with it?
Yeah, I wing it. Yeah, there is no schedule. Some days I'm consistent throughout the day. Other days it all comes at 11 p.m. at night when I'm laying in bed.
Nice.
It all depends on the day. I just stay consistent to being daily.
Right.
That's the key.
That wasn't exactly what I thought you were going to say. He asked me a question on a podcast earlier, and I thought, this guy's got all this stuff organized.
Not at all.
Right. That's what I
like that, man.
Not at all.
Respect.
Dude, I mean, so Sean and I travel a lot together, and I get really angry when the Wi-Fi sucks on the plane. Because that plane time is my time to schedule posts. And so actually, we flew Delta, plugged to Delta. They always have great Wi-Fi. I wish I could fly them every time. I was able to schedule several posts, edit several videos, get several things ready for the week, which just now makes my week easier, allows me to be more present because I don't have to lay in bed at night and post stuff. So yeah, it's if you can get into a schedule, good for you. But that'll lead to another question that you may ask, so I'm just going to answer it now. Is there a right time of day to post?
Right.
And my answer is yes, there is, but I don't think it matters. I think that if you let the time of day get in your way and you miss that time and then you're like, well, screw it, I'm not going to post, you're actually hurting yourself more than just posting.
Yeah.
Because even if I post, let's just say 3 p.m. on Tuesdays is the right time, the majority of my audience isn't going to see it until Tuesday at 7 or Wednesday at 3, whenever they get on the app. So stop thinking that really matters. I don't even know why they give that analytic, to be honest with you, because I don't think it's that important.
Right.
It might not be important algorithm-wise, but I think there's some people who look forward or they like, looking for it. For example, when I do a lot of the video postings for Century 21, but I've noticed that at 6:01, when I post or schedule for something to hit at 6:01, there is a consistent amount of people that tune in. Apparently, right when they wake up, they want to see what it is, what's going on.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, I know for sure by midday, I've got a certain amount of views per video.
But you could argue that if you posted that at 10 p.m. the night before, those same people are going to see it when
eventually
they wake up.
it'll take a little longer. It'll
Yeah.
take a little longer, but
There's a better chance that it could get buried.
right.
But if you're doing it right, you're going to probably show up on their feed.
You're better off doing it that night than you were to wait till the next day.
Yes,
Right.
correct. And you also have to realize that every platform's a little bit different
Yes,
too.
for sure, that's
Whereas
sure.
TikTok has a certain way that the system works.
Yeah,
and
that's
and
true.
it doesn't matter when you posted it, but if it gained traction, it puts it into a bucket of 500 people, and if it's popular, it's going to put it into another bucket of 500, and if it just keeps snowballing basically.
Yeah.
That's not how Instagram and Facebook work.
No, totally different. You're right. You're right about that.
Much easier to get a lot more views.
Yes.
At this point in time, that'll change, I'm sure.
Correct.
Because they all do.
Yes.
They evolve with time. So Jeff Pfitzer, USA Mortgage, here in Carrollton, Georgia. Man, we're glad to have you here.
Yeah, man.
Obviously, several other places, different podcasts you're on. Anything else you want to plug while you're on here?
Yeah, sure. So, Drunk on Social is a passion project for us right now. So, I'm the host of the Lab Coat Agents podcast. So, if you're a real estate agent and you're not subscribed, subscribe. It's a great podcast. I'm fortunate to get to interview just beasts in the industry. But then there's the Drunk on Social Facebook group. It's just dedicated to all things social media. So, kind of what we're talking about today.
I think a lot of this audience would also appreciate that group as well.
Yep.
That podcast.
It's a private Facebook group, so you have to sign up for it. But we also have a podcast called
Yep.
The Symposium. We recorded a podcast episode with you today. I think those are the two biggest things. We've got a couple of side projects that we do. If we teach video, we have a video school. We actually have a content creator app called Social Coach. They're all kind of spin-offs of all of the things that we do that end up feeding back to the mothership essentially. But yeah.
And absolutely, and the primary way you pay the bills is mortgages. So what all states do you have loan officers set up in to be able to do mortgages at this point in time?
Really, we can do them in about 48 states. I think we're not licensed in New York and Montana, the only two states we can't do business.
So New York, Montana, you're out.
Yep,
Everybody else, you're good.
Sorry about that, but I can tell you something else.
We just moved to Georgia, right?
Yeah. I mean, we have a large presence here in Georgia. Our home base is in Missouri. We have offices in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, the DMV area, West Virginia, Louisiana, Alabama, Wisconsin, Colorado, California. But if you're in any of the other states, we have people licensed, and that's just where we have physical presences.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. So you've really taken it and really look at it from a much broader approach, and I think it's really cool how you've been able to scale, using the random stuff through social media and just having fun with it. So, man, thanks again for being on the podcast, James.
Appreciate
Anything
you.
else?
One last question.
Yes.
What exactly is your random?
Oof. My random pieces of content. So,
Yeah.
you guys have your stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
This
it's
is kind of my stuff. James is a little bit different, but
Yeah.
like you have the suits, family, real estate, fishing, public speaking, or
golf
microphone, or yes, it could be it's a karaoke, whatever,
Yeah.
and then film.
Yep.
So, your daughter said it was a golf ball.
My daughter calls that a golf
So I
ball.
think your random might be a golf ball for one.
Yes, golf is definitely one.
Ozarks is probably another.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I call my actual pillars of content are personal, so my family, basically.
Right.
Business, obviously. Video and social.
Okay.
Let's see, what else do I do? Travel would be one. Golf is definitely one of them. So I create content around golf. And then, so you could build the Lake of the Ozarks into the travel, but I do all of this stuff, so I'm creating a lot of content around it as well.
And it's okay to add to it from time to time as it makes
Or
sense.
it evolves. Your life changes. You do
Yeah,
different
that's
things.
true. That's
Fitness and diet are two of my things. So, I mean, it's just something, I'm not an expert. I'm not a trainer. I'm not a dietitian, but we dabble with different things. Therefore, I just share it with the world. Therefore, I probably put a little bit more research into what it takes to be a vegan. Even though I'm not, I've tested it out and those kind of things, and I work out a lot, and I've tried out different programs. I just share it. So then, invariably, probably compared to the masses, I'm an expert. I'm not an expert. I just do more of it. And so whatever it is you do more of, you are an expert. Over the majority of.
You show up in the search criteria.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of experts out there, though, some of the true experts that don't talk about it, and that's where the opportunity really lies
Right.
for a lot of people. So
Right.
take those boring things you do or that you know about and start talking about them. Bring some life to it, and that's that low-lying fruit that you can turn around and growing your business, growing your passion, growing your sphere of influence, whatever it is, and have fun with it. And that's if you already like doing it, it's so much more easy. It's so much easier to make content on a consistent basis
Totally.
around it.
Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely.
Put a little bit of effort into using that phone more, right?
That's it. That's the key right there. Turn on your camera more often.
And then get to the point, get James or a content creator involved with it, you can take it to that level too. We appreciate it, guys. Make sure you subscribe and also go check out YouTube, Random to Real Estate. Check out Schiller Productions, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere else.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time.
Y'all take care.